Hello, my angels. Welcome back to Angels Anonymous, the podcast. It's Vanessa, your host. We're back with another solo episode this week, focused on trusting your intuition on your healing journey. If you followed me on social media for the last near decade, what a journey it has been, from my challenges with smoking marijuana to getting sober, my challenges with my eating disorder, relationship struggles. There's so many layers to your healing journey. Where I'm struggling with social media right now is everybody seems to have the answer. Everybody seems to have the PDF guide that's going to help resolve your gut health issues. Everybody seems to have the supplement protocol that is going to be your answer to not having IBS anymore, or whatever it is. I'm specifically talking about gut health here because that has been a very prevalent part of my healing journey in this last chapter. So these are some things I want to dive into today. It's not going to be a perfect guidebook set of rules that's going to help you climb out of the myriad of symptoms that you're having. That's not the point of this podcast. I'm not here to say that I have all the answers, because I don't. What I do have is life experiences, some fun stories along the way, some relatable advice, that kind of a thing. That's my goal here, to help you feel less alone, to feel related to. I'm not here to be your guru and be like, yep, I figured it out. I have the answers. And we're going to really dive into why that is, or why I don't agree with people who aren't necessarily like certified to share that type of advice. And even if you are a doctor or that kind of a thing, and you're qualified to prescribe and give protocols, and if a doctor thinks that they have all the answers for you, you might be in the wrong place. That's just my opinion. And I will speak on some touchy subjects throughout the podcast. So I'll put a disclaimer in probably for this episode, but anywhere in the future too. Disclaimer, I'm not a professional. I'm just here shooting the shit, sharing my words of wisdom from my own life experience. So these are just opinions, okay? But what I found is, in the world of therapy, doctors, any sort of health professional, if I find somebody who is trying to tell me period point blank that they have the answers for me, and they're not letting there be any room for my intuition to come through, that's where I start to have a problem. I really don't like that feeling of like being told what to do. Of course, sometimes with different things that have gone on with my health, my gut, along my autoimmune healing journey, I needed different pieces of advice and different protocols to like really help me get out of where I was. But it was never like someone talking at me. It was always a conversational healing type of protocol or plan versus like someone telling me what I should or shouldn't do. And let me tell you, when I had a therapist who did that for me, I dropped her immediately. I was like, this is not working out, because I like to be the guide of my own path. I want to be the main voice, and any of my healers, doctors, guides, therapists are just supporting me. I'm in the center of my own ship. I'm driving the boat. So that's just my 2 cents on that. I don't know. That was a random tangent. Let's ground. I really need to ground. I've had so much on my mind. Oh, okay. Here we go. I feel like I'm not even making sense. So I hope the rest of the episode is more grounding after this. Empty the air from your lungs. Take a big breath in. Open mouth exhale. Really let that exhale sink in. Empty the air all the way out. Inhale. Open mouth exhale. One more breath in. Exhale, send it out. I feel a little better. Those 3 breaths have so much power to them. That's why we do them, because I want to be dropped in for you. I want you to be dropped in for me, and really shift your state to be like, okay, I'm here to receive. I'm here to listen. So here we go. First things first, I had pizza with cheese last Saturday. If you've been following me and you know my gut health journey, that is a miracle. Of course, I had a little bit of discomfort. There was some symptoms after the fact, but that originally was not my intention. So backtrack a little bit. There is a pizza place in South Broadway called Joy Hill, and it has this phenomenal sourdough crust. And sourdough has been my loophole with this whole gluten-free, cutting out all of these main allergens along my gut healing journey. I've been able to have sourdough, and in the realm of dairy, it really just depends on what it is. I can have cottage cheese, I can have Greek yogurt, I can have more like, I don't know if it's fermented or aged or what it is, but really processed dairy don't do well with. I can have butter, and this came from my own internal wisdom of what I feel like works for me. I had a naturopathic doctor tell me a list of things that my body does not like, and I'll get into describing that testing that she did and how we found that out. We came up with some of the main ones were gluten, dairy, soy, cane sugar, artificial ingredients, GMO, the whole 9 yards. There was a whole laundry list when I first started because I was at the point where I couldn't eat anything. I was eating cooked veggies and beside myself stomach cramps 2 bites in. Like, I think it had a lot to do with my anxiety. I think that gut health is very correlated with brain health, and those two things talk to each other. And I think that I just had this like sense of discontentment going on in my gut. And I don't know if the chicken or the egg came first, if the bacteria caused more anxiety, or if the more anxiety caused more bacteria in my gut, or if it was just environmental toxins, a buildup of things that I've been eating over the course of my life. I don't really know, because I used to feel like I had a steel gut. I could eat whatever, whenever. And that rapidly changed probably 2 years ago. My face broke out in acne everywhere, all over my forehead, and I was in constant pain, bloating between like going to the bathroom too much and not going at all. It took over my whole life. It really made me feel debilitated because I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what test to do first. Should I do a stool test? Should I do a food allergy test? Do I go to a conventional doctor? How do I find somebody that's more holistic and naturopathic? Like, where do I start? And the first person I found was more focused on hormones, like a hormonal menstrual cycle approach. And I almost did her program. And then I realized, like, my intuition, my wisdom was like, I feel like it's more gut health. So I ended up I used to work with an Ayurvedic doctor, and then I ended up finding a chiropractor who is rooted in Chinese medicine, all of these ancient healing approaches. And the way that she tested me was this technique called emotion code and some other ones. But basically, she used my body as a pendulum to decide on its yeses or nos. And she would hold all of these little like tinctures that had different words on them, different toxins on them, different foods, different heavy metals. She would hold these little, I can never figure out the word I want to use for this, like a little test tube bottle. Okay. And I think there was water in it, but then the word on it, like mercury, let's say, the way that it works is because it's labeled mercury, the water holds that type of energy. The water holds the energy that is mercury, or if it said, I don't know, a parasite, ropeworm. Because it says that, and because she's going in with the intention of like, okay, this is what we're testing for, somehow your body's wisdom knows that that's what it is, even though it's not actually mercury in the test tube. This sounds fucking crazy saying it out loud. So bear with me here. I have nothing to prove. This is just what worked for me. I found this lady. She's in Minnesota. So unfortunately for all my Colorado babes, I can't refer you to her, but she changed my life. So I'm a little skeptical, of course, but I I blindly trust probably more than anybody. I hold my arm out and she's like pushing on my arm while she's holding all these different things up to my body. And we basically figured out I had hella parasites in my small intestine. I had bacterial overgrowth, all that kind of stuff. And then she held up all these different supplements to my body, and through the arm testing and seeing how strong my arm was, based on when she pushed on it, she could tell if my body responded well to the supplement or if it didn't. So this was not a self-prescribing, I'm going to do a parasite cleanse and see what happens. This was a type of woo-woo that is hard to even explain or justify. Based on that test, we found a protocol of what supplements I should take at what time of day and how many times a day. And I've worked with this lady for almost a year now, and I went from not even being able to eat vegetables without discomfort to eating a cheese pizza. Normally, I would order dairy-free, and the caveat with that is the dairy-free cheese probably has more preservatives and additives. I don't really know if that's true or not, but I just play it safe and do no dairy. And I just was out with my boyfriend on a Saturday night having some pizza and forgot to order dairy-free. And I looked at him after I ordered and I was like, dude, I got cheese on my pizza. Like, what do? I just went with courage and was like, I'm going to eat this pizza. And he got a side of ranch. I had some hot honey. We did it all. And it was delicious. You know what? I handled it. Was there mild discomfort? Yes. But it was absolutely worth it. And I moved on with my life the next day. That little story is the perfect metaphor for everything that I want to talk about today. And I want to catch up a little bit and get real about like why I've struggled so much as a guide or a leader in this space, and why sometimes nothing has really felt fully aligned, or why I often feel like a fraud. So my mission is simple. I want women to feel seen. I want them to feel less alone, to have hope, and I'm here to give you the confidence to forge your own path. Yes, I'll offer some tips here and there, but ultimately what works for one woman does not work for everybody. That is my cornerstone belief system. We have different traumas, different bodies, different nervous systems, different belief systems, and it's messy, and that's okay. But why does this all matter? Because so many women live every single day with miserable symptoms, and they're looking for a way out. Not necessarily the quick fix, but at least some answers, some clarity. And here's the truth that's been really hard for me to accept is our struggles aren't simple. They're not question and answer equations. So when someone asks me what test helped you figure out X, Y, and Z? Or how did you get sober? What doctor did you see? What supplements are you taking? That is typical Instagram influencer culture. Here, let me send you a link to this product and this is going to help you. But I often feel like I'm letting you guys down because there isn't a single answer, and I'm not going to pretend that there is. There's no one guide. But the freeing truth is that there's no rule book that you have to follow except your own intuition. Since 2018, I've been intentionally working on my healing journey, and there's been a lot along the way. Leaving the Vikings, leaving that professional cheerleading world, the pressure on the way my body looked, that whole existence really, I think, led up to a lot of the health issues that I experienced later on. And leaving that was a call to change my life. At the same time, I left my long-term relationship with a professional athlete. I was living a completely different reality. Like, people who know me now, I'm not even recognizable. I'm really not. I even show pictures to my boyfriend now or my friends of what I used to look like, and I genuinely look like a different person. I struggled with autoimmune struggles. I was put on steroids for, I had mono. I got mono, like the kissing disease, repeatedly every 6 months to a year. And every time they would just put me on prednisone. So I know that steroids or any sort of antibiotic treatment can really do a disservice to your body, how it works as a whole. I think specifically your gut bacteria and that whole system can get really affected by any sort of antibiotic. That definitely messed me up a little bit. And after that, I went to a rheumatologist I believe. And they put me on some sort of anti-inflammatory medication and basically were like, you're going to have to do this for the rest of your life. And I was like, no, there's something in me that knows there is a root cause to everything. And I'm going to start to untangle this to figure out what's going on. So I ended up stumbling upon an Ayurvedic doctor in Minnesota who we would do virtual visits once a month. She would look at my eyes, my tongue, my skin. She asked about my stool, my sleep, literally everything. And we focused mainly on lifestyle shifts. There was no more core power hot yoga for me. I had been working on quitting vaping nicotine for years off and on. That was a huge cause of a lot of my health issues as well. And just redefining boundaries overall, I had to completely change my lifestyle. And I think that's what's so intimidating for people is when you think about cutting out a substance like alcohol or even gluten, it is so earth-shattering because you know that your whole reality as it is going to change. It's not going to be the same. You might not end up being around the same people all the time. Your day-to-day might not look the same. Your lifestyle, what you do is going to change. And people are so scared of that. But what if these changes ended up making you happier and brought you to people who are more aligned with who you want to be and actually called you to be a higher version of yourself? Oh, it's time for class. And not just like high vibration, like be the best version of yourself, but like genuinely aligned. Like you want to feel good every day. Why are we holding on to these things, these habits, these substances that keep us so low? It's because they're comfortable and it's what we're familiar with. Leaving core power yoga was devastating and scary. I had my whole identity wrapped up into being a core power yoga teacher, but I knew that I had to ditch it because the heat was putting so much stress on my body. The lifestyle shifts is the scariest part, I would say. And all of us are more willing. I guess I'm starting to get a little bit all or nothing groupie. A lot of us are willing to say yes to supplements and herbs. And yeah, there are some placebo effects that go along with these things. I F with a placebo effect, okay? Like I love a placebo effect. I think that it sometimes works better than the actual medication. The power of your belief, like that term placebo gets so discredited, but it's honestly, it shows the power of your mind. Your mind, if you believe something, you can literally heal yourself. It works. It's crazy. But yeah, so it was this combination of lifestyle and supplements. My naturopathic parasite cleanse doctor came later on down the line within this last year. I was working with an Ayurvedic doctor on and off for probably 3 to 4 years to heal my autoimmune stuff, help me work through some of my post getting sober imbalances and any other stuff that popped up. Face redness, acne, symptoms that came on along with vaping. She would tell me to stop drinking caffeine by a certain time, just like little tips and tricks that are rooted from these ancient practices that genuinely change so much for you and how you experience wellness on a day-to-day. I've really learned firsthand that just because something works for someone else doesn't mean that it's good for you. I've had moments where I went supplement crazy, and let me tell you, it can backfire. I was literally, how do I say this, PC? I had no control over my bowels because I got so supplement happy. I was taking all this magnesium and cranberry pills and turmeric and this vitamin and that. And my Ayurvedic doctor looked at me and was like, you don't need to be taking any of this. So where it gets tricky is this like self-diagnosis, self-prescribing. We all want to better ourselves, but we tend to lean towards taking supplements versus prescribing different lifestyle changes, and that's where it gets sticky. I've also learned to feel my body. My skin cleared virtually overnight once I tuned in, and I can feel what foods upset me and how my stress levels impact everything. I released parasites for months, and there was proof in the pudding, in the toilet. Digestive bitters have been a game changer for me. And now I can enjoy a pizza and move on with my life. I also had illegal pizza this weekend. That did not feel good. And I probably won't be doing that for a long time. But the fact that I could do it and handled it, and I drank some chia seed water afterwards and had a normal flow the next day, like went to the bathroom normally. Such game-changing progress, like literally night to day progress. Here's what I really want you to take away from all of these side tangent rambles. Healing is an absolute marathon. I'm still in the middle of the race, and it really takes a village. Your intuition guides you, but it doesn't replace action. You still need support. You still need to ask someone that you trust, a friend, a yoga teacher, a naturopathic doctor, under your insurance. Look for flyers in coffee shops. Keep looking until somebody helps. There is no single healer. There's no permanent fix. There's no magical formula. Your energy is going to guide you to who you need when you need them. And not all paths are easy, pretty, or rewarding. Not every person I invested money into gave me that return on investment, or I didn't feel a relief of my symptoms with everyone that I've worked with. And that's what's hard to accept is like, all right, I'm going on this journey, right? It's not this guide with an answer or some simple equation to solve. It is a journey. It is not linear. It is full of ups and downs and twists and turns and points where you feel like you're regressing and maybe one week you feel like you're improving and then the next you just feel devastated because your symptoms are so overwhelming. But just remember, you are in this marathon long journey that is the rest of your life. And it doesn't mean you're going to be miserable forever, but it does mean that you need to give your body and yourself and your practitioners, whoever they are, the people supporting you in your circle, some grace and have some patience. And let yourself feel down when it feels really defeating and celebrate when you feel like you're winning, when you had the pizza and you weren't beside yourself. Like, that is something to celebrate. The real question here is, are you ready? It's not seeking more information. It's not getting another supplement that you haven't uncovered before. It's not another beauty face mask that's going to get rid of your acne. The question is, are you ready to invest in yourself financially, physically, emotionally, over some of the things that you currently prioritize more, like late nights, drinking, takeout, or skipping hydrating? Here's the other truth. It's often simpler than we make it out to be. These questions will do wonders for you. Am I sleeping enough? Am I drinking enough water? Am I eating whole foods and cooking at home? Am I eating too much sugar, dairy, and gluten? What foods am I eating that upset me? Or am I so far disconnected from my body that everything upsets me? How do I start to untangle that? What's my stress level? You already know what to do next. You already know what you need to do. You really do. What you need is validation, encouragement, and accountability to get there. That is why Angels Anonymous exists. To hold space for you, to remind you to trust your intuition, and to guide you without a rule book toward your version of freedom, of clarity, and peace. Before we close out, I want to give you a little angel number. I saw this one last week, and I really notice angel numbers when I'm like thinking about something, whether I'm like saying a type of like prayer or like wishful hope in my head and then I see a number, or I have more of like a thought that feels kind of divinely downloaded and then I see a number and I'm like, oh, that was a message for sure. So that was one of these instances for me. I think it had to do with like applying to this new job or like having some self-doubt or something. But angel number 811 signifies a call for self-confidence, integrity, new beginnings, and aligning with your true self. It suggests you should trust your intuition, focus on positive personal and spiritual growth, and take action towards your goals as the universe is supporting these changes. Seeing this number can also indicate that a significant life change is imminent or a cycle is ending to make way for something better. I hope that is my job that I applied to. Key themes for this number is self-confidence and integrity, new beginnings, intuition and inner guidance, personal growth, manifestation, and positive outcomes. I hope that resonated for you because that definitely did for me. Where in your life are you being called for more self-confidence, integrity, new beginnings, and aligning with your true self? Maybe it's your gut health. So my loves, Trust yourself. Move through the bumps. And I can't believe I'm saying this because I wouldn't have said this 6 months ago. Eat the pizza if you want to. Learn, heal, and keep going. I'll see you next week.